next time they show themselves, they're gonna have gameplay to show, and they're gonna be very close to release. There's no way the next time they show this game after just putting this hype is gonna be 2 years from now, right? It's gonna be very soon.
Welcome to episode 0 of the Sprint Podcast. This will be a podcast all related to Marathon, the brand new extraction looter shooter made by Bungie. With me, I have Bravo and Corbry. How are you gentlemen doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to get into the podcast, finally get the first sprint underway, and cover some of this Vidoc. How about you, Corbry?
I'm doing well myself, ready to cover the Vidoc, go over deep dive things.
In today's episode, we're going to be going over a lot of different things. We're going to nitpick at different things. We're going to go over the Vidoc, which was released by Bungie. It's a really good video just capping on a lot of different topics that they could have going on for Marathon. So we'll watch that real quick, see where we want to pause, see where we want to go, and just kind of take it slowly, take it aggressive, take it agilely, okay?
In Bungie's next game, we're combining the rich history of Marathon with a PvP extraction shooter where players get to be part of the narrative. I think that's just going to be a magic formula.
I got to pause. Part of the narrative, hinting at a lot of different stuff, in my opinion. I think that's sick. Like, look at this guy's reaction. He's fucking hyped. Hell yeah, dude.
Like, what do they mean by part of the narrative, though? Like, is that saying that we're having like a large part in like progressing the story of the game, or is that kind of just something they're saying to get hype? Like, I can't really tell.
I think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna use us in some form. I don't know how, but I think they are.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like games like Tarkov are not live service games, right? I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, there's not a lot that goes on in Tarkov that Bungie. How am I going to word this? Bungie likes live service games. That's their motto going forward for everything, or motto going forward for everything. They want to make a live service game. So the narrative's going to shift what we do. Destiny shifts what the player does, right? I mean, even though it's a very linear story still, it shifts what the players do. We discovered this one thing. We did the Halls of Time, or the Quarters of Time. We discovered that. We shifted a narrative with that. So Bungie's probably going to introduce multiple ways to change the narrative by storytelling or in-raid activities, or world's first things, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like looking at Cycle and looking at Tarkov, I mean, they have storylines, right? Like with their quests, but they don't necessarily have what Destiny has, where like
they're planned out storylines.
Right. You could call Destiny a story game if you wanted to. Yeah, it has raids, it has cooperative activities, but it has a story, like a very fleshed out story and with lore. And I wonder if they'll take that step with Marathon as well and go in that direction. We might even see like full on deep dive story missions. I mean, it's really anything's possible with what they decide to do there.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with like questing and stuff could be really cool.
One more touch up with that. So I actually spent on what Bravo just said, like changing the story. What most games do, like Tarkov questing, Bungie already does, but they do it seasonally. So every season is a new quest line, new thing going on. So Bungie already, saying that there will be seasons in this game, and like the game will progress through seasons. And maybe every season is a new quest line. Most like games like Cycle, Tarkov, the quests are always the same. They're identical, right? Every season is the same thing, or every wipe is the same thing. This game might just do a new whole quest line, like a brand new one, start from scratch, and like that's just how it proceeds forward. That's how it evolves. It's different every time.
Yeah,
definitely interesting. We'll see what they mean by narrative, I suppose. But
yeah. We'll see. We will see.
In Marathon, you are a runner, and you're exploring the hostile world of Tau City 4, looking for mysterious artifacts, implants, and weapons for your runner that are just going to make your character stronger.
All right, so pause right there.
Make the best
that's
things
actually
on the shoulder.
Okay, I've seen this back before. Obviously, almost everybody has, right? That I never even picked up on the implant part. So going back on the lore, you're a runner. You're in the system, right? So like your main character is probably on that tower you see on the moon, or the moon that's cracked with a ship in it. And you're probably projecting yourself down to a robotic AI or whatever they want to call it, which is going to be the runner. Those implants, I feel like, are going to be like modifications to that said robot. Like, that is your way of getting stronger. Like, most games do armor systems, like Tarkov does armor, Cycle did like tiered armor. This game might be based off implants. The more implants you have, the stronger your character is. It could be mods, it could be bonus health, or whatever they decide to do with it, right?
Yeah. I
didn't even pick up on that. That's something that's actually interesting.
I mean, I could see them doing that because, I mean, they have like different roles of different weapons in Destiny right now, right? They have like certain guns have like certain perks that they get that are like god rolls. So maybe they'll have some like RNG factors in fact where like you have to farm to get artifacts, and then maybe certain artifacts have different types of perks. That could be another thing. That could be really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you say god rolls, because like obviously in Destiny you farm for a long time, you get a god roll, right?
Yeah.
In this, I mean, in a full loot drop game, it'll be interesting to see how they balance that farm, or like the grind for getting that gear. Because like, let's say for example, if an implant is something you need to work really hard for, and you lose your implant every time you die, you know, that's an interesting avenue to take. I mean, we'll see how they deal with that, but
yeah, very interesting.
For mysterious artifacts, implants, and weapons for your runner that are just going to make your character stronger.
You make the best things on the shoulders of giants. And in our case, those giants are Halo and Destiny. The team's been leveraging 30 years of experience and innovation and passion to create Marathon.
Beautiful.
So in Marathon, you're a runner. A runner
is a flashlight?
A what?
A little flashlight?
Oh, that is a flashlight.
I wonder if attachments are going to be like a large thing, or if it's just kind of like part of the gun.
But you can see it as a holographic sight or some kind of holo digi sight, whatever you want to call it on this gun also.
Maybe the guns have like automatic stuff on them. Maybe you can edit them. Maybe you have to find different versions of different guns.
In a dark area too, the flashlight. I wonder if this would be maps that have dark areas.
It's
so sick.
It seems like they show a lot of areas like this too. I wonder if a large part of the map will be like underground or something. You'll need certain attachments for it. Like
there's like slight fog too.
Well, yeah,
that's cool.
You're a runner. A runner is a cybernetic mercenary.
They're this combination of fashion and sci-fi and cyberpunk. They're just so cool.
You're going to be able to both visually represent yourself in really interesting ways, but then also there's going to be gameplay modifications, which is going to be awesome. And it means that you and the other two people...
I mean, visually representing yourself, that surely that means transmog, no? Or cosmetics. I mean...
Yes. Yep.
I wonder how in-depth that'll be on release, though. It's hard to believe that transmog is like when you... Like it's just like applying a skin or like some sort of something that changes your character's look over another piece of gear. So, for example, if I don't like how my chest plate looks, but I really like how something else looks in the game, like a cosmetic looks in the game, you can just apply it over your your.
So you still have the same perks, but different. Yeah. Gotcha. Different appearance.
Yeah, different appearance. Yep.
Gotcha.
Another thing I noticed in that, like if you looked at the screenshots, those concept arts, those screenshots are like players, like not players, but like humanoid, right? They look humanoid. And the trailer, the announcer trailer, the person that killed the person running, right, that had the timer on them, was those people were full robotic. They were white faced. They had robotic limbs all over the place. Like they were like just a hard color, right? So my theory right now that I have in my head, I can't knock it, is that maybe our actual human, not just the net runner part of us, will go to kind of like a scavved PMC vibe that Tarkov has, right? Like maybe our big runs are our actual humans going down there, but when you go down as a runner or as a net runner, it's a different atmosphere. Like you maybe have a set loadout, maybe your actual loadout that things you carried out with that runner go to your player, right? That you carry down with that player instead. It's just I'm getting two different vibes. I'm getting a vibe from that screen, from these concept arts, and from the actual runners that we've seen in trailers so far. They're completely different.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the overall like art style of the game so far?
I like it a lot.
I think it's pretty nice.
I like it. I like the colors.
A lot of games have this like weird issue with like vibrancy, where they just like have this dull looking game that's no matter how fun it is to play, you just get bored of the atmosphere, and like looking at a building, it's just like some dark gray color, and you're just like, that's just not it. But this game, it just looks like, even like everything in the world that I've seen so far just looks so vibrant and like a nice color to look at.
Looks really sick.
Every area looks interesting so far. Like even the pool where the guy was bleeding out with the blue blood, and he was like, that little pond area looked amazing. Like it's amazing looking.
There's a lot of different, like I was looking before, and we'll see more, but I'll pause it when I see him. But there's like a nice foresty type building type vibe. It's really cool. It's some really cool areas.
You're going to be able to both visually represent yourself in really interesting ways, but then also there's going to be gameplay modifications, which is going to be awesome. And it means that you and the other two people on your crew can pick your different play styles.
Wait, did you hear that? She said, and the other 2 people on your crew.
Run it back.
I didn't even pick that up the first time.
Be able to both visually represent yourself in really interesting ways, but then also there's going to be gameplay modifications, which is going to be awesome. And it means that you and the other 2 people on your crew can pick your different play styles. I think the runners are going to be
other 2 people on your crew.
I mean, there's a lot in that one sentence or whatever. Gameplay modifications. I mean, if we're going by Destiny, I wonder if that's like a similar system to Destiny's classes. Like it sounds like you can differentiate between how you play the game, and
yeah,
that could be so many different things, like speed, weapon control, weapon handling, stuff like that. I wonder if that's.
They have a lot of different paths they could go.
What they're saying there.
Yeah, they actually they sneak a lot of info in there. They really do. They snuck a lot of info.
All right, so I'm getting 2 things from this, right? Gameplay modifications and obviously the fire team like scenario. Like we know 3 players. It's a fire team side. It's Destiny, right? Gameplay modifications could lead to implants. And what if implants are something you were to put in to your runner before the raid starts, right? Let's say you implant yourself to have more movement speed this run. Like this run, I have more of this, so that is your gameplay modification for that raid, right? Maybe those implants are meant to like be a temporary thing for that said run. It's gonna work that one time, and after that, like you see where I'm going with this? Like it's a modification, like kind of like Nightfalls in Destiny, right? Nightfalls in Destiny have these modifications that change the way that strike feels that run, right, or that week of the run, but usually just the one time. I can see Raids doing that.
That'd be unique for sure. Most games typically don't force you to like go, unless you could buy them from the store, I suppose, if there's like a implant store, but. Yeah, that'd be kind of atypical because usually you can like select what you want to be. You know, in Destiny, you choose your class. Destiny, like it's Titan, Warlock, Hunter. But yeah, it'd be cool to do it that way. I think that'd be unique, and then it'd also force people to change their playstyle up. You might not always have an implant that lets you sprint faster if that's something you get used to. That'd be kind of cool. Although I don't know how well that'd be perceived by the community, but it'd be something interesting.
Yep.
A really great way for players to shape their gameplay.
These planets look
Tau
sick.
City is a very vibrant and dangerous world.
We wanted to make sure this world pushed back on you in the right amount.
You're going to drop into persistent zones. You never know what you're going to find or who you're going to.
What does persistent zones mean? Does anybody have a grasp on that?
I don't really understand it either.
So I'm on the fence with it. It reminds me of Cycle. It's a server that's always alive. You drop in at any time. Players can continually drop in. I think of that, but then I think of like it's an ever-changing place, right? It's persistent, right? And maybe it's always alive, but maybe the environment's always changing. Like like for instance, we just saw like a hurricane, basically like a hurricane storm over the top of the world. Maybe that zone or every zone changes drastically over the course of a day, right? Maybe like I loaded in earlier today and it was sunny, and later on tonight it's like stormy, can't see in front of me very well. Like persistent means like I feel like ever evolving.
I think,
and like
persistence is definitely a broad term. It could mean, like you said, it could mean cycle servers, right? Where you load in and the server's been going on while you're not there. But it could also just mean that the world's living, and one time you might drop into one location and not much is going on. The next time it's like the hot zone, right?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, the little hot zones. Yeah, that'd be cool. A lot of different avenues they could go with that. To be honest, a lot of different avenues.
100%.
Know what you're going to find or who you're going to face. You're trying to get out alive, and so is everyone else.
Are you serious?
We're combining the best of that Bungie touch and feel gameplay, but we're adding that incredible tension and these emotional highs and lows.
We want back a little bit. Go back to that weapon on the screen. Yeah, go back to that weapon on the screen. I noticed something on this.
Let me find it.
Right here. So you notice the base. So in game design, and I could be completely wrong on this, that base model is a never-changing model where the rainbow colors are, right? But those red parts on it are, in my opinion, attachments. So what if it was an SMG just now, right? But with that barrel on it, now it's a scout rifle, right?
Did they
what
add
if
a
you just
barrel in
changed?
the video?
Yeah, he just added a barrel. That everything that's red on the screen right now, there's little red parts on it. Those are things that just got added onto that gun. So now I'm wondering if that barrel changed the way the gun fires. Maybe it's a scout rifle now. Maybe like you're modifying a weapon to be whatever you want it to be, right?
That'd be cool.
I definitely think that the red parts could be attachments. If it was part of the base gun model just for the attachments, they I don't see a reason that it wouldn't just be like baked into the gun.
Yeah, if you take it away, it's not a DMR.
Right. So I think we definitely will be seeing attachment modifications, and honestly, it doesn't surprise me considering that like attachments are just a large part of extraction games. They give you another loot source to mess around with. I mean, it also just adds depth to your game in terms of gunplay and whatnot, and lets people be creative with what they want to use.
Yep.
I mean, let's gonna learn to see 5 attachments.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good to think about.
Probably going to be pretty in depth.
Yeah, I hope so. Cool for some sick looting experiences, dude.
Yeah.
These emotional highs and lows.
We want that kind of just surprising, dangerous mystery. Imagine going into this basement of one of the colony buildings and it's like flooded with water, murkiness. It's too quiet. Just the sloshing of your footsteps. Around the corner, you see some beam of green light.
Like that right there, like that is nuts.
Yeah. The artistic side of me wants to love this, but the side of me that's seen the visibility and cycle and how annoying that can be with just trying to fight, like I'm excited, and I think Bungie knows how to do visibility well, and they know the problems that can come up if visibility isn't done well and it's just not fun to play in fog and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that these underground areas aren't like something that's super ratty or like encourages ratty playstyles, or at least if it does encourage ratty playstyles, I hope there's ways to outplay that. But yeah, I just hope that's something they don't go like too, like that's a slippery slope for sure. I hope they don't go too far down that road with like that foggy, murky atmosphere, because I'm personally not an enjoyer. I'm sure people will like it, but I don't know. That's just how I see it.
No, I agree.
I think if certain maps have that atmosphere, it's fine. Like if this is like a tunnel that like when you go down here, it's gonna be foggy. But I feel like if it's like a random fog event, like Cycle had storms, right? When the storm came, the whole map was just you can't see, right? It's impossible to see long range. It's just foggy. If it's like this area, and this area is always that way, and you can prepare for it, I think I'm fine with that. I'm on the side of Bravo where I hate whenever I just can't. I'm forced to just fight one particular way because the weather is making me fight this particular way, even though I came kitted for this other thing. Like I'm kitted more for long range, but now I'm forced to fight close. It kind of just like it's too RNG based whenever it comes to an extraction shooter.
Yeah.
But one thing we didn't touch on is that what if what we're looking at right now is a PvE boss?
That's what I think it is, because I mean Bungie does great PvE, phenomenal. So I think this is definitely a PvE boss, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I think this particular like silhouette is shown multiple times with the Vidoc.
Yeah, it is. It was in the very beginning as well.
Yeah, and I mean that just screams importance to me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if they're showing it multiple times, it's probably something we're going to be seeing in game.
Yep.
So it's either something that is heavily interacted with by the player. I mean, it could be friendly. It could not be friendly. But yeah, I mean, if they're already showing off PvE bosses, that bodes well for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does.
Fun little fact, that little silhouette, that is the Warlock 30th anniversary armor from Destiny, by the way.
Really?
If you didn't know. Yep. That little centerpiece, that is the marathon theme. So.
Interesting. That's cool.
It's a good little piece of information, Corbry.
Wow. Thanks, Ed.
And you're like, oh no, what is that?
Marathon is a game where you're always one run away from greatness. You might
Marathon
find like the
is a
sick loot
game.
in this corner.
Thank you.
Confirmed.
You might find some Hyler in that corner. But every choice you make matters.
It's great to see some of those moments in the world.
Look at the map. Like it's like we went from a dull hallway with fog.
Every choice you make
like right
matters.
here, like it's the guy again. It's
Wait,
the
go
same
back.
guy.
Go back. Hold on. That screenshot you just had. Hold on. Wait a minute before I lose
This
track
one?
of that. He's free firing.
Oh my god, I never noticed that. He's actually shooting on the wall without.
Oh,
At
yeah.
a PvE boss. Look, the circle in the middle of the chest. At a PvE boss.
There it is again.
It's PvE.
He's not even
100%
looking.
Well, that
PvE.
basically confirms it's something you have to fight. No.
Yep. And he's literally Tarkov free firing around a corner.
That's actually crazy. It's like
This
a
gets
VR
me
headset.
so hyped for like all the different types different types of way you can outskill people. I mean, I could be wrong, but haven't they confirmed some movement types already? Like, I think have they showed sliding? I'm not sure.
I think in a concept I've seen some sliding. I also seen like very like aggressive sprinting. Like the weapon was not on him. He was like just
Like
he was
full
sprinting
sprint?
with his hands out, like just full sprint.
How was he
I mean,
sprinting
at the
here?
very least, go ahead, Vasco.
How was he sprinting right here? Like, don't they show a video of him sprinting right here?
Yeah, but he has his gun in hand.
Oh, so it's
Gun's
not
definitely in hand.
Okay, gotcha.
Not the same sprint that I saw the concept art
Gotcha.
for.
Yeah, gotcha.
And is a game where you're always one run away from greatness. You might find like the sick loot in this corner. You might find the compiler in that corner.
Compiler?
But every choice you make matters.
It's great to see some of those moments in the world that just kind of naturally happen as players collide.
Oh, this right here. Oh, what a shot, dude.
This visual is
sick.
When I first watched it, I think this probably stood out to everybody as well. But this visual is insane. I mean, especially like the next few frames.
It's
but
just...
touching on like what that guy just said regarding like the compiler.
Yeah.
It seems like they have like multiple different key items that are going to be like part of almost every raid. Compiler, I've heard artifact. I think they talk about it a little bit in depth more, but most like Tarkov has those like items that are kind of persistent in like every lobby where you're looking for them. But it sounds like to progress your time, like to progress your main goal on like when you're in the world, it sounds like you're gonna have to look for those items if you want to like get a lot done.
Is that a timer?
Yeah.
Is this it says 27.04.
Where?
On his hip. You see that?
I think that could be oxygen timer. I think they've already confirmed that there's some sort of thing going on there, but
so if you go
Not
back to
sure.
that character though, look, this feels more like a human character, does it not? Compared to the other characters we saw, like in this trailer specifically, the person that killed this guy was full on robotic looking, had robotic limbs, robotic face, everything was robotic, right? This character does not look robotic whatsoever. The legs look natural, the arms, the hands, the way he's dying, it looks
like a
natural.
suit.
So maybe when you're in here with an actual player, like human character, it's oxygen you have to have. Like you're more on like a limit than somebody else that is in here with a robot, right?
Yeah.
Or a runner.
Like different counterparts. Yeah, that'd be cool.
it's weird because they focused on the word runner, so I kind of wanted to say that runners might be like a scav thing similar to Tarkov, but it seems like that's like the main part of the game. So I'd find it hard to believe that they would talk about runners in the sense that they're like the main thing you'll be doing if they're just like equivalent to a scav. Maybe it's a bit deeper than that, but yeah, I don't think it's impossible for humans to be part of the running like the world or whatever.
Yeah, one big thing the thing about Marathon is I know we're also called net runners. So maybe the robotic version of us is called a net runner, right? Maybe we load in as a runner or we load in as a net runner, right? Maybe those are our options, and maybe the net runner has a cooldown because recharge your batteries, recharge this. Like it could be a million different aspects on that. But like so far, all I'm picking up on these two characters that they're insanely different. Like across the board, he has a mask on for one, right? He has an oxygen timer. That I have not seen that on any other character yet, except for this one humanoid-looking character.
Yep. That other character before that we saw free firing around the wall had a VR headset, no oxygen, nothing. Maybe it's even like different. Could be different maps, different planets.
I mean, especially, I don't see why a robot. Like I don't know what the lore is behind netrunners exactly, but I don't see why a robot would need oxygen or whatever. You think they'd be advanced enough to deal with that issue? Maybe netrunners are actually just like human clones, so that could be a reason that would be like that.
Yep.
Or I mean, it actually is just you, which would be interesting for sure.
Yep, very interesting. Could be cool.
What runners are doing.
Like right there, yeah, that's the robot type vibe you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the full white character. Like that's not human. Like there's no way. This too. This is again. If you look, there's not really. Like if you try to look in the helmet, it doesn't seem like there's anything in there. You know, it seems like it's just hollow. Like you don't really see a hint of anything. So maybe it is like an avenue.
I wonder if this is obviously a great visual, but I wonder if this has like more meaning than it shows. Like I wonder if what he's sinking in is going to be something that you have to look out for. Like I don't know if you're supposed to be able to stand in where he's standing. It seems like he's like melting it, which
it's like he's deteriorating.
Doesn't seem great.
Yeah, not exactly. Some bubbles
for his circumstances.
Vex milk confirmed 100%.
I'm thinking this is more of like a have you watched the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
Like when they go to that alien planet, they're not in the planet. It's like another, like they connect to a machine and it's another version of themselves in the alien planet. So it could be something like that, you know, where you're there, but you're not actually there. So that could be something really cool to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely like ambiguous to what exactly is like the character's playing. I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it.
Yeah, it is. And that looks like an LMG type gun. It
does look big.
Yeah, it looks like an LMG type gun, but we'll see.
Is gonna be that exciting narrative that unfolds over the course of a season. Who knows what's gonna happen, but imagine if...
Then right there, ripping something out of them, that could be, again, we don't know, maybe that's their version of a backpack or something.
Dog tags, maybe?
That's dog tags.
Oh, dog tags?
So it seems like PvP is encouraged just based off that one frame.
Yeah.
I think they also said that PvP is just a large part of the game. They want it to be like a focus. So yeah, it seems like you get rewarded for taking down the players, which is big.
That's
encouraging big. PvP, in my opinion, is a
all right,
big part of extraction games.
Can I like throw this like crazy oddball out there? Because like I didn't even think about this whenever I first saw this. I was always skeptical if this game would have a UI or not, right? Most games don't have a UI that are extraction shooters. They want to feel more hardcore. If you look at his team, they're all white and green. Maybe that's how you tell each other apart. Maybe there is no UI, but the color scheme. Like why?
Team?
And that's just like for the video purpose. It could be as a complete like curveball for all I know.
True.
But they are neon green with white trim. Yep. They seem very identical. Maybe so they can notice each other more. Maybe that's designed. They did it that for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's your UI. Is your how your character looks, not the actual UI over their heads.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
If I had to guess, I find it hard to believe that they would force you into a certain color, especially when they're promoting that. They want people to have unique like visuals for their character. So most games wouldn't force you to be like a green or a purple or whatever the team's color is. I'd imagine that it's just kind of like a team choice if you wanted to rock that color together. But yeah, anything's possible. Maybe it is like something you're forced to do, but I'd be surprised for sure.
One crew happens to find an alien key. They place it on this altar, and then they get memorialized for opening up the next zone. And they have to go and figure out how to then unlock that for everybody else.
That's sick. That is sick. So again, this is like a lot about.
I have a
go. Yeah.
I have a lot to say on the world's first.
Yeah.
Obviously, like
go for it.
With my position in Destiny with competing for those titles a lot, it's something that really excites me, and I'm sure a lot of other players who play Destiny are really excited for world first potential. If you listen to his wording, it sounds like there's an initial key you have to collect that I think gains access to the area. But after he says that, he says there's something in the area you have to do to unlock that area. So it's not just the key. It's not like you grab a key, you open the door, and it's like, all right, guys, pile on in. It seems like it's deeper than that. So just gonna throw a guess out there to what I think it might be is when the game releases or whenever this part of the game releases, there's gonna be a way to get into this area, whatever they release, and I think multiple teams will be able to do that. I don't think it's gonna be like one key. I think multiple instances of the game may have this key to unlock the area, and then it's whoever completes the task in the area first. So for example, like you take a raid from Destiny, everybody goes in, except it might be whoever gets the key first gets to go in, and then whoever's in there and does whatever needs to be done in that area first is going to be world's first, is my guess. Obviously not confirmed, but that would make sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Yeah,
it sounds sick. It really does.
I'm excited. World's first in this game was not something I was expecting.
They better give belts. That's all I'm saying. Better be a belt. Okay.
Better be a belt.
It's gotta be in my room.
The biggest difference though, it's PvP.
Yeah,
because if you're fighting for a key,
you might just be fighting forever for this. It could take days at that point.
I mean, dude, imagine if you're going into this room, like you unlock and you go into this room and there's just like 50 other teams in there. That'd be insane.
That'd be nuts.
Oh man.
And if there are persistent lobbies, then you have to think people are not going to stop coming. But again, they probably found something around that if it is like that. So
I mean, we'll see. It's impossible to really guess exactly how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a key that unlocks an area that only teams that have the key can get in there.
Like
so maybe you're fighting over this place against other people that hold the same key.
Do you think there's a chance that it would be like joining an instance? So like you open the key and you're put into another area with so let's just say the world's like 20 teams, right? You open this key and you're put into a room with like 8 teams max, or like whatever. Or it might just be a party size thing. You open the key and you're put into a small dungeon or something like that. You have to clear with your 3-man or your 4-man.
Yeah,
it could be anything.
Honestly, it could be anything.
It could be so many things.
and then they get memorialized for opening up the next zone. And they have to go and figure out how to then unlock that for everybody else.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of ways.
He says you get memorialized for opening the zone, and then so like maybe it is just whoever opens the zone first and not who figures out how to open it for the rest of the people, or maybe the wording is just a bit weird. It's hard to tell.
Let's hear it again.
Opening up the next zone, and they have to go and figure out how to then unlock that for everybody else.
So maybe they have access because he says they get memorialized for opening that zone. Then he says then they have to figure out how to unlock it for everyone else. So maybe they get access.
In terms of world first though, it sounds like whoever gets to the area first is the winner, the world's first team. But then it doesn't really matter who unlocks the zone for the rest of the people. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then they get memorialized for opening up the next zone, and they have to go and figure out how to then unlock that for everybody else.
There's a lot of ways to feel like you can win this game. Obviously, getting out alive is the primary one. You can win by getting out with the most artifacts. Each piece of an artifact you find in the world combines into creating bigger, more valuable artifacts. I've had a run where I've got all the...
That looks sick.
Artifact is such like a deep thing. I don't think we could ever really figure out exactly what they mean by that. They showed 3 different sizes. I mean, I don't know if that means there's like if you collect 3 artifacts, they piece into one artifact, right? And then the next 3 artifacts you grab are also another 1 artifact, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can just get 6 artifacts and piece them into one thing. I don't know. It's definitely weird, and I don't really know what maybe artifacts are just like a value thing. You like the main source of value you do from like a raid is just extracting with artifacts. That might be the main thing, and you fight over artifacts. And if I take somebody down, the main thing I'm looking for is like an artifact on their body. That could be, that could be what
that'd be cool.
I'm not sure though. They don't really describe it that well.
Yeah, it's very vague, but it seems like it's very important. So kind of hype. I do want to see if later in the video or if any part in the video do they show different colors of artifacts?
An artifact you find in the world.
I feel like they did, no?
To creating bigger, more valuable artifacts. I've had a run where I've got all the pieces to get a prime artifact. I could get out, I could win, and then I hear gunfire in a building nearby, and I know I just need one more piece to get that prime, and that's the decision that we want.
That's where it was.
So why does he equate that to gunfire though? Is he saying that you need to kill other people to acquire certain types of artifacts? Like, it's weird that he says like gunfire. Like maybe he's guessing that he might get what he needs from that fight, or it is something that's related to PvP.
Maybe,
and also,
maybe you do.
Yeah, and also he says it's like pieces. I wonder if only certain artifacts. So like, see how you were right about the different colors. Like maybe you need to find purples, or maybe the purples are in one zone, right? Like, or you need to find blues to create whatever, blue artifact or blue prime artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminds me of something from Sea of Thieves. There's something called a Fort of the Damned, where like you have to get these different types of like flame colors, and there's like a pink color for like if you kill someone, you get that color. If you kill a certain boss, you get a different color. So they could go down that realm as well, where you have to do different types of tasks in order to get these different artifacts, which could be cool. But
yeah, so like maybe PvP is like one artifact, or maybe it's all of them. Like one piece of all of them creates an artifact. And PvP is just one of the pieces of artifacts. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm getting from this, though, if you look at them closely, it reminds me of like any kind of cyberpunk movie, like right. These are like data fragments, right? And these artifacts remind me of heavy data fragments. And maybe he's saying that he needs to go fight this other team because maybe this fragment needs you to do certain things to, unlock more data from it, or, collect intel to put into the artifact to unlock to the next artifact, right? Maybe you're grabbing data throughout the entire like raid itself, and you're trying to upgrade this thing to become the prime. Like maybe that's how you get more XP, or you need it for a certain quest, or you need it for something. Like these remind me of data fragments, and everything so far. What he's saying is that doing anything in the world, or killing a squad, or going over here and doing this thing and looting is giving you more data to get to the next artifact. Because if he's saying that you can get it from anything, maybe it's just that you're doing certain things that require you to get data.
So you're saying it's like more of a quest line where like you get like a base artifact, and it's like, all right, to enhance this artifact, you need to do these steps.
Yeah, because you remember, we are net runners. Like we're trying to collect data more than anything else, and then how else are we going to do it besides maybe killing a squad, doing this, or
That's a good
doing
theory.
Yeah, that's smart.
PvE or killing a boss.
Yeah, could be like a different version of questing too. You know, that could relate to questing in this game because we don't know how they're going to do that. Because I mean, every game in this genre has some type of questing, so we have to see how they're going to do that.
I'd say questing in this game seems pretty open ended as well, for sure. Like we don't really know what's coming.
Yep, agreed.
That's a decision that we want players to have to make.
You can choose to engage the other
Oh,
team.
they were mix and match there, weren't they?
No, I just need one more piece to get that prime.
Were they?
And that's a decision.
It wasn't. It was on
players
a
have to
slide.
make.
Seems like they're all.
Like right here, like there's a purple one right there we didn't see. Or that's the.
I think
mixed.
it's just bleeding over into the blue.
Okay.
Yeah, the blue and
choose
red
to
are
engage
mixing.
the
Blue
other
and pink.
team. You can choose to just find the artifact, and then you can choose to just get out.
I am down. I actually shared an exfil with someone. They started shooting me, and I'm like, okay. Like, I downed them, and then I let them go. And that's the point. Like, I could
All right,
play.
that's a pause.
Yep.
That's a pause.
Pause.
That's a big pause. I mean, that's a massive pause.
That's huge.
That's down
Monumental.
system, which means revives, which means this is the first extraction shooter that has a revive system. Besides, I guess you could say Star Siege, but it's not really an extraction shooter. It's more of like
res.
yeah, like you can res on the spot. Like he's knocked, he's downed. It's Fortnite, he's downed, right? Or I knocked him in Call of Duty. It's like it's a down state, right?
Yep.
And like the way she just said it is that I let him go. There was no team. They were both solos. So if she just let somebody go, maybe you could even revive as a solo.
Yeah, it might be the type of thing where if you don't finish them off, they're gonna get up in 30 seconds or whatever, right?
Yep.
Also, I wonder. I doubt they would confirm VoIP, but it sounds like it's kind of like the thing where you can't really talk. Maybe I don't know. Like,
yeah,
it's hard
VoIP
to
is
say.
huge in these types of games.
You think they would just be able to communicate, and not have to fight, but
yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah.
That's sick though. That's dope.
They started shooting me, and I'm like, okay. Like, I downed them, and then I let them go. And that's the point. Like, I could play any way I want.
She demonstrated her power, and then she let them go.
There's just so many different ways.
Like right here, more dark areas. Like the scenery looks crazy different. Like
they did an amazing job.
They really did a really like.
Yeah, but what if this is a nighttime mode? Like this, it looks more open right here, right?
Yeah.
Is it not?
It looks like maybe trees in the back. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but it just like again, this it's also weird because this is a different type of cyborg. It's not the white face character. It's not the person with a VR headset. It's not the person with a weird mask. It's like a human mouth with like a different type of mask over their face. That's like the fourth
Almost
type
like
of
a spacesuit.
Yeah, it's a completely different. Like we've seen 4 different types of character models already. Right. So it just maybe different factions. Who knows?
You can be famous or infamous. Did you help somebody who really needed help? Or you became world's first because you unlocked the zone? Or you are the best runner in the world because you've climbed the leaderboard all the way to the top rank and everybody knows it.
Big W. That's
so like leaderboards. Like are they based off player kills, like based off PvE kills, based off like loot extracted? Like
they should have a ton of different types because different people are going to want to grind different types of things. So you know, it's like in Dark and Darker, they have all those leaderboards. It's like number 1 for loot collector, number 1 for kills, number 1 for different types of tasks. So I mean, depending on what you like, you're going to grind a different subject.
Leaderboards are crazy. That's crazy.
Leaderboards. I mean, I think they've just confirmed leaderboards off launch. I don't see why they would mention it if it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about leaderboards is that leaderboards are always awesome. It's hard. It's really hard for leaderboards to not be a cool aspect to a game. That being said, a lot of games or like a lot of studios have this issue where their leaderboards are time invested and not skill based. In my opinion, it's a hard line to draw because like wins kind of is time invested. Obviously there's a lot of skill in winning or like extracting most artifacts, whatever it is in this game. I just really hope that I really hope you can like discern yourself from like just somebody who invests a ton of time into the game. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think skill is like should be a large part of like what brings you to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And even if you don't grind as much as the next guy, but I mean we'll see.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's pretty diverse as well with like what you can grind for.
Yeah.
Like, most artifacts put together, most kills, most extracts, all that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. A lot of different parameters.
Yeah.
This again, isn't that a different type, or maybe it's a different character model? Because
every time, but that's a sniper right there. He's holding a sniper.
Yeah, that is a sniper. You're right. That's 100% a sniper.
I mean, I'm not surprised we see so many different models. Like literally at the beginning of the video, she says that there's a ton of different ways.
That's true. That's true.
Visually,
it's just so cool.
So
They all
I
look
think
so
that's
good.
I think that's a big thing to them, and honestly, that's just a big thing in gaming now too. Like most companies understand that like customization for like cosmetics is just really important. Like people want to stand out and look different, and look cool. Most importantly,
Yep.
I mean, we'll see where they go with that. I imagine it's going to be like a heavy, or like a large. What am I trying to say here? A lot of importance to them, to have people stand out.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like maybe in the beginning, like I know in the beginning when you start Destiny, you have to choose like if you're in the human faction or the alien faction.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how it is, but again, maybe it's like that where you can choose how you want your character. Like, do you want the big helmet? Do you want the this type of character model? Do you want the completely one colored character? You know, I'm guessing, yeah, you're right about that 100%.
Yeah.
The art style of Marathon is graphic realism. Bold, colorful, stylized art.
It's vibrant, it's beautiful, but also mysterious.
So nice.
It's familiar, but also...
Again, there's like fog there as well, so we'll see how that plays, like you said before, you know? It looks like the fog is pretty low, but again, it does kind of...
I gotta tip their artists, like, they do an amazing job. They've done an amazing job in Destiny as well. It seems like atmosphere is really big to Bungie. I think they understand how important it is to make the world look inviting and easy to look at.
Yeah.
Some teams take that too far though, and you get issues with visibility. And although things look great, it's more of like it's more of something you would want in a single player experience rather than like a competitive or something you take serious, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
Familiar, but also strange. We're really trying to find the right mix of beauty and mystery.
When I jump into the game, I'm just like running for my life, but at the same time, I'll be like, oh, this bush is so beautiful. Oh, look at that building. Oh.
If I get bush camped once, I'm gonna just skip that.
Yeah,
the bushes better not be too thick. Bushes better be small, little shrubs. No big bushes.
Yeah.
Please. I can't.
The thing about this game though is like you're in Tarkov, and like every single player and what they're wearing blends in so well with the world that like the bushes are impossible to discern somebody in. But like when your net runner has blue and purple lights bouncing off of them, like you're just gonna see a bush and just see this like net runner inside of you.
It's like
you're not hiding
tree.
A literal Christmas tree.
Yeah, like, you're not hiding that bush unless the bush has Christmas tree lights on it too.
Then I'm swinging. Then we're having smoke. But besides that, it's all right. We'll see.
Whatnot.
But also strange. We're really trying to find the right mix of beauty and mystery.
When I jump into the game, I'm just like running for my life, but at the same time, I'll be like, oh, this bush is so beautiful. Oh, look at that building. Oh my.
Because we're targeting this like very bold style, it's a balancing act to figure out where do we dial it to 11, where do we dial it back to 6, and which objects and which elements of the world do we really want to highlight. It's something fresh and sort of...
Pause here.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, touching on what you were saying earlier with like overdoing certain aspects of the game's art, it seems like they're already aware that that's going to be a potential issue if they go overboard with certain things. Does that equate to fog? I really don't know, but I think we're in good hands regarding visibility issues. I mean, they're a well-known studio. They've made some solid games, so I'd assume that they're not going to butcher that, but we can only hope.
Another thing to think about though is like Cycle, for example, Crescent Falls, right? Like the tree area, you can be running or trying to engage somebody and you run into 1,000 roots. Like there's just clutter everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, and so far what I've seen from the screenshots, it looks very clean. The ground looks like it's not, you're not going to get caught on a million different things trying to chase somebody or trying to run from somebody, right?
Yeah.
That's another big thing of mine is that visual clutter and things that are just like randomly around the map can ruin a PvP game. I'm hoping that they keep it clean and simple how it looks in these screenshots.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not fun to be running around and then like you're chasing somebody and a random like branch out of the ground just stops your sprint and then the guy's getting away because you're getting unlucky and it's just too much shit to jump over and it's just not fun.
Yep. Yeah, that's so annoying.
With Marathon, Bungie is very clearly focusing on
right there.
PvP.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
That was the sprint. You see, I know it's a concept art, but like Bungie always brings their concept arts to life, right? Like you have a guy shooting with a scout rifle or whatever that is that looks like identical to the guns we've already seen.
Seems like an
this
ability.
Guy is full running, right? He's full sprinting.
Yeah, it looks like an ability, 100%.
It seems like there might be an ability. I mean, speculation, obviously, but like there could be an ability where like you overcharge sprint, meaning that you're committing to the sprint. You won't have your weapons up, but like you can close distance, which would be insane. That'd be a really.
And he
cool
is
ability.
glowing, so maybe like the glow
like,
indicates that he's using an ability.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a laser? I think there's a laser as well. So laser sights confirmed.
Oh God, Hipfire
confirmed.
I think we're
It's
gonna see
very
a lot
clearly
of
focusing on
Yeah.
PvP, and so from the ground up, the integrity of the experience has been absolutely critical. And it was non-negotiable that Bungie was going to be investing in dedicated servers for Marathon, disconnect recovery, and Fog of War. Like without those elements,
Yeah.
none of this matters.
Yeah.
I mean, dedicated servers. How long have we waited for that one? It's
Bye bye, these
2023.
things, stupid. That's so
Okay,
good.
so touching on the Fog of War for a second, I don't know if this is the same Fog of War that we heard of in anti-cheat, where like it kind of like eliminates wall hacking. If you guys don't talk about like the Fog of War anti-cheat system, where like everything character-wise uploaded to the server. That way, it's not client-based. So that way, somebody who's wall hacking can't tell where you are at all times, right? If you played Tarkov or anything like that, it's client-based when it comes to like where the character is located. So Fog of War doesn't exist in those games. But if this game has true Fog of War, that eliminates like 99% of closet cheaters off the start.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think-
Cheating in the genre is
I think
so
we
bad.
all know that like we can go over the hacker situation in most games. Like we all know that no matter how good a game's anti-cheat is, like if there's money to be made producing hacks for a game, somebody's gonna do it. There's smart people out there that are making money off of that, which is not fantastic for us, but
It's
it is what
reality.
it is. And
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to like every tiny thing they can do to stop people from cheating over and over again is going to be big. I mean, whether it's like a VIP lobby where, you know, trusted players can play and avoid those like new accounts that are created or whatever. And then yeah, Fog of War is big. I mean, I don't know exactly how unavoidable that is. Like as somebody who's like creating sheets, I don't know if that's something they can deal with simply, but I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping it's a pain in the ass to get around. But yeah, we'll see. It just comes down to how annoying Bungie can make it for people to create new accounts and like play the game again, really.
Yep.
Agreed. Another big thing, Reconnect. They mentioned Reconnect is also in there. Some games don't even have that yet in extraction
Yeah,
shooters. So that's a huge thing. You know,
Yeah, it's very
crashing,
annoying.
internet problems. At least you can come back in the raid.
Yep, that's such a big thing. Like just not like your mom shuts off the Wi-Fi. You don't want to be chalked, you know. You get right back in there. You're getting aggressive, and we're back. So that's a good feature.
Sometimes those routers just get unplugged. You never know. You never
It
know.
happens. They're vacuum. You know what I mean? It's this whole thing. Okay.
So we actually have a dedicated team in charge of security and making sure the game like is as fair as possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. I love this image. That's I don't know why, but that image gets me going. It gets me going.
I mean, yeah, their art direction is just so good, man.
It's
I wonder
so
if
good.
this plant is like has bigger meaning. Like, is it just a visual, or is there gonna be like poison plants or something that you step on creates a gas?
Oh
Like, I
yeah,
don't know.
true. Yeah.
No, it's definitely just a mushroom affected by the storm, dude. We're playing Cycle 2.0. That's exactly what that was.
Yeah, I hope not, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Not.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I hope
it's
not.
lots to learn. Lots to learn.
Marathon's going to be releasing on PS5, Xbox Series X, and
Pause.
Go
I
back.
didn't even realize that. Go back to the character when he was running. So we know there's a timer on his back that's counting down. According to the trailer, that timer on his back counts down, but he's also flashing red. Why is he flashing red?
Maybe he has to get out. Is that why he's like rushing? Like, is he?
I think
having
so.
Maybe
to
he's running out of
extract, and that's why he's
oxygen.
sprinting.
He's probably running out of oxygen, and then maybe other people see you flashing red, like that guy's screwed. He has to
That'd
leave.
be crazy.
So
Oh my,
then
did he
you
get
just
marked?
get pressured by
Wait.
PvP.
Oh,
you
no.
get pounded
Like somebody
by
who
PvP.
overstays their welcome without the right utility might just get absolutely smoked by
Destroyed.
the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, smoked.
And maybe he's marked for that amount of time. Maybe he has like 39 seconds of being marked, and he's just trying to move. Like he's just trying to stay active, right?
There's
It definitely seems like they were trying to convey this like rushed atmosphere, and I didn't really understand it at first watching this, but it definitely seems like this guy is going somewhere. You know what I mean? Like he's gotta go.
He's moving. He's got to move the
Yeah,
feet.
He's
you know?
moving. He's
The
moving.
feet got to move. I'll go back. I'll play it a little more.
Marathon's going to be releasing on
He is
PS5,
stressing.
Xbox Series X, and S, and PC, and it's going to have full cross-save and cross-play.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
Yeah,
boy,
Massive.
that is massive. Yeah, that is massive for player count and like the game's health as like a just an overall live service game. I mean, having access to consoles is like tapping into another, you know, extremely
So
large
many
source of
players. So many players.
But we've seen with games like Fortnite and honestly with Destiny 2 and other games that utilize controller crossplay, aim assist is like a large debated topic. Like personally, I think that aim assist is overtuned in a lot of games. Obviously, I'm not going to argue with the fact that aim assist is needed for that input. I think it's nearly unplayable without it. But I just think in general, games have progressively gotten easier to play with controller. And there's benefits to both, but I really hope that aim assist is something they pay attention to. And like, I don't want to have to switch the controller to
compete
with people beating me. Like, I really don't. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
I agree. It's an extraction shooter. I don't want to feel cheated because I my input choice, right? I don't want to feel like I'm forced to play this way, or else my chances of survival are insanely less than the other person because of his input choice.
It's a balancing act for sure. I think it's really hard to get aim assist right compared to mouse and keyboard because they're both good inputs. It's not like mouse and keyboard is just infinitely worse. They're both useful. It's just when you have a system assisting your aim, it has to be well done. And other games just they do too much, or you know, it's just becomes a problem quick if you're not good with it.
Yeah, and especially again in this genre, you're gonna want to cry. If you just if there's like imagine there's a kill cam feature and you just see the guy it doesn't move, it just
perfect
doesn't
tracking,
move.
you die in 6
like games like in Apex Legends, like Apex I think has one of the most overtuned aim assists in all of gaming, even though they're not in the genre. It's just they have to find a good balance, and it's going to be hard to find that balance. The balance is not easy to find, so they got to work on that and stay up to date on that, because that's going to be
100%.
You got to please both sides, you know.
We are marching towards our alpha, which is really exciting.
We wish we could show you all the cool stuff that we're working on right now, but we can't do it just yet.
Like right there, like what you think this is because before in the trailer we saw when that guy got sniped in the middle of like that water milky area, right? They pulled out like a ball type thing, and right here there's like a tag falling. So
I want to say the dog tags that they pulled off the body look different than that. I didn't get a great look at it, but
yeah, they're different,
like
100%.
Different.
Yeah.
This kind of looks more like an access key card. Like maybe there's key cards they use. I mean, even the color could be tied to something. I mean, it's pretty generic purple considering what they've shown in the game, but it'd be cool. Like
maybe it's their network card. You're a net runner. Maybe it's you plug in to snag data. Quick topic, real quick. They just mentioned marching towards the alpha. A lot of people keep having this speculation that this game is like a 2025 release. I'm gonna break some ice on that real quick. I don't think that's the case because we know confirmed according to Bungie's shareholders meeting they had, Matter, their third person shooter IP, is pretty much confirmed to come out 2025. I don't think Bungie would do two big releases in the same year. For one, and two, marching towards an alpha makes me think that next year in 2024 is when we see the official release of this game.
Yeah,
it has to be next year. There's no way it's in the same year as their Matter IP. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, I realistically think we could see alpha gameplay or even a closed alpha prior to the year end. Final shape for Destiny gets announced August 22nd. I would bet some money on the fact that they would release some info with Marathon. I mean, it's one of the largest Bungie announcements, so it would make sense for them to talk about it there. Also, on top of that, going back to what you said about them releasing more information on the game, no company would randomly out of the blue bring up their game if they had 2 years to work on it still. That is bad for marketing. It's a bad look for the company. Put yourself in their shoes. If you release a hidden IP, right? They release Marathon's information, you wait 2 years for any more information to come out or the game to release, hype just dies down. It's just not a good play.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like they would do something like that.
Especially
go ahead, sorry.
So in the next slide, I can't remember his name. He comes out and says, the next time they show themselves, they're gonna have gameplay to show, and they're gonna be very close to release, right? That's about to be said in the vidoc. So I mean, realistically thinking, there's no way the next time they show this game after just putting this hype is gonna be 2 years from now, right? It's gonna be very soon. I mean, I don't think like not like 2-3 months. I think the next time we see it, we might see it at Bungie, but initial release might come. I'm feeling sad that like May, April, in that time frame of like going towards summer, right? That's like the new hot drop for games. It's not winter anymore. It's been summer, right? We're seeing these games come out summertime. It just makes sense. And there's no way he would say all this stuff and say that we're close to release on our next reveal. Like that there's no way the next reveal is in 2025. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Going off what Bravo said, it's they revealed it too early if that's the case.
I would say the max we're seeing this game come out in terms of like how far away. I'd say like a year is tops until we get like the full game release. I think we'll get alpha in like a few months, to be honest, and then we might have open betas in like 6 to 8 months. I'd say the only way we don't get this game within a year is just straight up delays. Like we've seen other companies do it a lot. It's like honestly, it's almost expected for almost every company to have delays with certain things. Unless we just get absolutely destroyed by delays, I would see this game within a year.
Sure. Yeah, agreed.
After this announcement, we are going to go dark for a while, for an extended period, while we focus on developing and playtesting the game. Oh, I got one. One second. Next time you hear
extended
from us,
period is kind of
much closer.
I don't know what they mean by extended period. Obviously everything we're saying is speculation because we don't have confirmation on anything. I just know that it would be a pretty big mistake in terms of like PR to announce a game and then just wait. Like people forget about your game. People aren't as hyped. It randomly comes out of blue. Oh, we have alphas now. It's like, okay, well then 50% of people that heard the announcement forgot the marathon was even coming out.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's just no way. I definitely see it within the next year.
Yeah.
This was released a month ago as well, so they've been dark for a month already, so we'll see.
Closer to release, and we will be ready to reveal gameplay.
Yeah. Marathon. Oh yeah.
Marathon.
You're being thwarted all the time, and you've got to adapt. At the core, it's what it means to be human.
I was just going to say you shoot people and take their stuff. That was way better than I was going to do.
That's sick.
I mean, could we ask for more?
I mean, we could ask for gameplay, but that's not, you know what I mean? We could.
In terms of what we got, I'm actually extremely impressed, especially like watching it back for the second or third time, whatever.
Yeah.
You pick up a lot more.
There's a lot of detail in that video. In 6.5 minutes, we picked up a lot.
It was 6.5 minutes, but they talked about so many key things that are just missing from like games, and we just kind of accept it, like reconnecting, just like you don't really know what to expect in all games in terms of loot, but you can kind of link a lot of what they talked about to Destiny or like other extraction games.
I think it's because the genre is just so dry. This genre has so little options that we just accept it because there's nothing else to play. There's like 4 or 5 different options tops.
Let's be honest, like a AAA company like Bungie, no matter what, we're gonna get a fun game to play most likely. Like everybody might enjoy it a little bit differently, but we're gonna get a good game here. I bet on it. But we'll see. We're gonna get more information later.
Now, do we want to pick some questions from our Discord that you can join with the link down below in the description?
I mean, I think we should because I've seen some juicy questions.
Great question. You'll pull some up?
Let's get some of these questions going here.
Yeah, let's get some going here. Let's pick like a couple, not too many.
Let's see what we got here.
Yep.
I'll read some out. I'll read some out.
Yeah. Give them a quick shout out. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yep.
Let's see. I read one earlier that related to the cycle. His Discord name is JCal. JCal asks, in the cycle Frontier, it always felt like there was no reason to run anything higher than white kits when playing solo. Everyone else would run the same garbage gear, low-level stuff, and save their best gear for playing duo and trio. Do you think Marathon will incentivize players to actually run good gear with solo? If so, how? Gear brackets, MMR, is this something they can do with an anticipated much bigger player population than the cycle? I have some opinions on this, to be honest.
Okay.
So the reason that I think that extraction games struggle with solo players running gear is because they force them into lobbies with higher team size. So unless you're just the guy, you're never running your best loot solo. Like it just doesn't make sense for like the average player to run solo when they could just run into a duo or trio that's just gonna like outman them and it's just gonna be over. I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, is just create an option for solos to play solo. I think I don't understand why more extraction games don't do that. I don't think it really ruins the ecosystem of player count or anything like that. Anything higher than the solo team size, I think, could be stuck together. So like duos, trios, squads all together. But I do think solos should be its own queue, and I feel like we've missed that in a lot of games. Tarkov Cycle didn't have it. But yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll see good gear ran solos if it's just you're matching solos.
Yeah, I think it heavily relies on time to kill as well, because we don't know if you can get one shot by like a random gun. We don't know if it's like we don't know the time to kill. It could be Apex Legends time to kill. Could be Tarkov time to kill. We don't know. It could be a good mix. Yeah. So it also depends on that heavily.
Also, incentive. This is a Bungie game. There's gonna be the PVE boss that we saw earlier. If it's a boss, it could be a regular AI. Like incentive could be like if you have to take that thing out, maybe you need certain gear, certain mods to be able to even withstand a fight like that. So like incentive, like should I bring this in? It's gonna be worth it. I think Bungie knows how to do that best more than any other company, to be honest. Because if you have a goal to go in and get that boss, and you're like, I know I need to bring in this good gear to get that boss. I'm not gonna bring in bad gear. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I think we'll see some solos running good gear more so than other games.
Yep.
He asked about gear brackets, gear MMR. I think we will see some sort of background MMR. We see it in Destiny with PvP, and there's controversy, but personally, I don't really mind MMR as long as it's pretty loose. Like, I don't want to be matching other players at my skill level all the time, because then it can become and feel like scrims in my past experience, and it's just like everybody's trying their hardest, and it's really slow. And I think it's good to have a mix of players for everybody. We'll see. In terms of gear MMR, I think it's kind of different for different levels of players. Like if you know there's a strict gear MMR and you're kind of a casual, then you feel more confident running your best gear because you're going to match other players that are your skill level, and vice versa. If you're a top level player who's really confident, you're going to be more inclined to run better gear because not every single person you're going to run into is just insane.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different for both sides of the coin there. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think that answers that question pretty well.
Yeah. Solid question. Great job, J Cal. Really killed it out
Thank you, J Cal.
Yeah, thanks,
Shout
J
out to
Cal.
my boy.
Shout out. You want to pick one more?
Any other questions you guys are seeing in there?
I honestly, one from Kinky. He says, "In game is really all I care about. Obviously, that's not the general pop, but it's important. It's the largest issue in the genre as a whole. Not having true in-game gear dump PvP focus. I think I'm not worried about that at all. It's like I said, Bungie we're talking about. They have a very strong in-game in Destiny. They've tested so many different things when it comes to dungeons, raids, exotic missions. Grandmaster Nightfalls. Like they have a lot up their sleeve when it comes to in-game, right? I think when it comes to the game and how it's going to like proceed towards the end, if there's a wipe system, they'll have something up their sleeve. Definitely for us to gear dump. Like they don't want us to, sit on stuff. They hate that actually.
Yeah.
I know they despise that. So I in game, I'm not worried at all. We're going to have something for sure. No, it could be world bosses. It could be a dungeon type thing. It could be unlocking the next zone, right? We don't know what it is yet.
Less sold, I think. I mean, I think Bungie's a fantastic company, don't get me wrong, but I also understand that creating an end game loop for gear dump is not a simple task. Well, it is simple, but it's hard to execute on it, in my opinion. I think that PvP carries games replayability, in my opinion. If the PvP is fun, I think you'll have certain players that come back no matter what. The question is, how well does the PvP side survive without, like the average player might not love PvP. He might be excited by it, but he doesn't load into a raid and only think about PvP like I might.
Yeah.
So how well does his gameplay loop work? Like, can he go do stuff and get gear and have fun over and over and over again without PvPing?
Yeah.
I think that's harder to create. I think that's harder ecosystem to create. So yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for Bungie, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not great off rip. But we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. With how
the PvE side is really, really important because I personally I love PvP, but I love PvE. Like I actually love it so much. So if there's like a good loop, like there's certain stuff to farm, there's certain AI that's really hard to beat. Like I love like if they have like a dungeon and it's really hard to complete as a trio, let alone as a solo, then you go to try it as a solo, or there's as long as they have different stuff like that.
And we talked about ways to like help that ecosystem survive, whether it be like world events or mini bosses or whatever else, just to create that interaction with PvE more. And let's be honest, like Bungie's AI is solid. We've seen their Destiny AI, we've seen their raid bosses. Like they know how to do it. Let's just hope they implement it correctly.
Agreed. There's another one I saw that I just want to. It's an easy knockout, real quick. Callie says, since it's owned by Sony, do you see PS5 users getting access to the game before PC Xbox users with an upgraded version of the game, like others games launched from Sony? No. Bungie stopped doing that with Destiny 2 on launch, not on launch, but during Forsaken. And from as far as I know, I'm pretty sure they're not owned by Sony. They're in a partnership with Sony. And Bungie says with Destiny specifically, they'll never do that again. Also, like the whole exclusive this, exclusive that. I see that also going with Marathon. There's no way they make it exclusive off the start. They would not.
Yep.
Yeah. I see it as a thing of the past, to be honest. I think they've realized that PC culture and honestly every other platform is just so much. There's so many players that you could just annoy with that it's just not worth doing. The most I could see with their partnership with Sony is just like some cosmetics. Like if you play on PS4 or PS5, you might get a gun buddy or skin or whatever.
Nothing special.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have no issues with that, but if we're seeing like a month earlier launch on PS4, I'd be kind of annoyed for sure, and I just don't see it happening.
Yep, agreed. I think that's a great point to end on for episode number 0, because that was the intro episode number 0. Okay. So I think that's a great spot to end. We covered a ton of different stuff. Leave your suggestions in the comments of what you want us to cover. Again, we have a ton of different episodes coming to you guys. Let us know in the comments who you'd want to see on the pod. Let us know what topics you want covered, and just talk about Marathon. And make sure to join the Discord, which is linked in the description, and it will be pinned in the comment section in the very top comment. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching. We appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.